We all have at once that feeling of having 10 critical things to do right now. It's that normal part of life. We end up feeling overwhelmed and achieving nothing. What if I told you that the secret of getting everything you want doesn't involve adding anything to your list, but taking nearly everything of it? I'm talking about the powerful idea from the book that completely reshaped my view about productivity. The one thing. This book isn't just about time management, it's about achieving extraordinary results by relentlessly focusing on a single most important task. We are going to explore how asking a single simple question can cut through the noise of your entire life. Stick around. This completely changes the rules of the game. The foundation of this book is this beautiful simple idea, the one thing. It's a highest leverage activity, the single action that by doing it, everything else on your list becomes easier or even unnecessary. It's about going small to achieve the big results. I used to treat my tasks like they were all standing in an organized line. The book introduced me to a better metaphor, the domino effect. Extraordinary results is sequential, not simultaneous. The key isn't brute force, it's finding the lead domino. When you concentrate your energy on knocking that one most critical priority down, it starts a chain reaction that builds upon itself, leading to a geometric progression of results. It made me realize my problem wasn't lack of hard work, it was a failure to choose the right thing to work on first every single day. But what prevents us from finding the lead domino? The author argues we are derailed by 6 pervasive lies we believe about success. The first lie is that everything matters equally. It doesn't. We have a default setting to treat every email and every small task as urgent. We need to embrace the 80-20 principle that 20% of our efforts create 80% of our results. The real magic I realized is in extreme Pareto. Applying the 80-20 filter repeatedly until you arrive to the essential one. This was a huge shift. Now, when I start a complicated week, I write out that long messy to-do list and then I force myself to apply the extreme Pareto. It's a process of elimination. Ask yourself, what is the vital few of the vital few? And I keep crossing things off until I am left with the single, high-impact priority. The ruthless elimination is what turns a simple list into a success list. This lie is compounded by the second, multitasking. We tell ourselves we can handle 4 things at once, but the truth is, our brain is just switch tasking. Every switch incurs a time cost, draining our mental energy, increase errors, and lowering results. My reflection here was simple but profound. I'm not giving my one thing an undivided attention. I'm honoring its importance with low quality work. And here is where the reflection takes a surprising turn. The book tells us that believing we need a disciplined life is a lie. We don't need a disciplined life for everything, forever. We only need a short sprint of selective discipline, about 66 days on average, applied just long enough to build on powerful habits. Once that one habit is set, it becomes automatic and you can direct your discipline to the next key habits. The fourth lie is that willpower is always on will call. That's a dangerous assumption. Willpower is a limited resource like a battery. It depletes with every decision. This means timing is everything. We must use our willpower when it's at its strongest, first thing in the morning, to work on our one thing, and save the lower willpower task for later in the day. Perhaps the most comforting correction is that a balanced life is a myth. Extraordinary results require extremes. Success is actually an act of counterbalancing. For work, we need a long zigzag, embracing being out of balance for periods of intense focus. But for your personal life, health, family, you need tight counterbalancing, frequent, short adjustments to protect those non-negotiable glass balls. I have learned to accept the long zigzag for my creative projects. I now intentionally dedicate long seasons to developing my project, knowing that other areas will be messy. But the tight counterbalancing for my family is critical. That means when I take a short break or a long weekend, I am fully present. Finally, the lie that big is bad. The small thinking creates an artificial ceiling on what we can achieve. We must think as big as possible, ignoring the limit of our current resources, and then go small with our action. Thinking big forces us to seek new models and develop the skills necessary to meet that challenge. This all brings us to the core tools that unite our big thinking with our small sequential action. The focusing question is the most powerful phrase in the book. What is the one thing I can do? Said that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary. It works for both big picture map, what is my one thing for my life, and a small focus compass, what's my one thing right now. It forces you to identify the leverage action, the first domino that unlock all the other across every area of your life. I find the real power of this question emerge when I'm faced with ambiguity. When I find myself in a cloud noise or stuck in a difficult decision, I always return to this question. It cuts through the fog and gives me an immediate leverage direction regardless of whether the problem is about a personal relationship or a professional goal. This systematic approach leads to what the author calls the three elements of extraordinary life: priority and productivity. Live with purpose. This is the invisible foundation, the big mountain that acts as your compass guiding your priorities. A life lived on purpose is the happiest and most powerful life. Live by priority. This is the sequential engine. The book teaches goal setting to the now. You start your ultimate someday goal and sequentially ask the focusing question through every time horizon: 5 years, 1 year, 1 month, 1 week, until you arrive at your right now priority. This ensures your immediate work is leveraged for your biggest future vision. When I want to start a new complex project, I use the goal setting now process like a trail map. I begin with the huge ultimate goal for the project and then I work backwards. This ensures that the immediate action I take today is actually the most leveraged step needed to concretize that ultimate vision. Live for productivity. This is the discipline of action, making an actual protected appointment for your one thing. The ultimate tool is time blocking. The most productive people time block minimum of 4 hours a day for their one thing, and they protect it fearlessly, acting as a maker in the morning and manager in the afternoon. I used to have the habit of subdividing high cognitive tasks into small 45-minute blocks. I was constantly task switching and was not very efficient. When I implemented the book's idea of time blocking, I started allocating a sweet 4 hours in the morning and complete my most demanding cognitive task in a single uninterrupted period. The difference in focus and output has been astonishing. To sustain this, we must move from E, entrepreneurial approach, doing what comes naturally but hits a ceiling, to the P, purposeful approach, seeking better model, system, and breakthroughs when we hit an obstacle. This mindset shift means embracing accountability cycle, seeking reality, owning the result, finding a solution, and getting on with it. High achievers refuse victim role. Once you know your one thing and have it time blocked, you must be a vigilant guardian of your time. The authors identify the 4 thieves that try to steal your focus. Inability to say no. You must politely but firmly defend your yes to your one thing. Fear of chaos. You must accept that striving for greatness creates inevitable mess in other lower priority areas. Poor health habits. Lack of sleep or proper nutrition to high productivity. Environment doesn't support your goals. Your physical space and your social circle must actively reinforce your one thing. The entire journey is synthesized in one small concept. Think big, go small. You set an ultimate vision for your life and then go small to take the single sequential step that leads there. This consistent, focused action on the right task is the only path to extraordinary results and a life of no regrets. You are the first domino. We started with the burden of an overwhelming to-do list, and what we have discovered is that the deep relief and power of singular focus. The one thing isn't about productivity tricks, it's about a complete philosophy of prioritizing what truly matters: purpose, clarity and productivity. Imagine the clarity that comes from starting your day not with frantic survey of emails, but with the quiet confidence of knowing the single simple action you need to take. That intentional focused action compound over time is the only way to build the extraordinary life you envision. If this perspective on simplicity, focus and purposeful action resonates with you, I truly encourage you to explore the full framework for yourself. I have left a link to the one thing in the description below so you can find your own path to growing small or big results. What is the one truth you found most surprising? Let me know your thoughts in the comment below. Until the next time, keep seeking your lead domino.